to the mountain's edges, and the whole tribe is surprised by his appearance. One of them, a girl, manages to communicate with him, claiming to know the stone language. According to her, everyone learns it during childhood, but they tend to forget it over time. The village chief thinks they should get rid of the stranger by throwing him out of the river, but the girl thinks otherwise. Hartigan explains that he comes from the past, something the girl can't quite understand. She introduces herself as Mara and convinces the others that the stranger is a wandering idiot and that he hit his head on his journey, so he manages to get out of the situation in an airy way. Hartigan explains the customs of his past world at night, something Mara's brother, Kalen, finds fascinating. They let them stay with them as they sleep, and Mara tells him that their parents left the place, with Hartigan fascinated by how much the world has changed to that point in history. Looking up at the sky, he notices the moon destroyed, with a small belt of space fragments around it. The doctor asks her why they take their boats out of the water at night, believing it is for fear of being stolen. Mara doesn't know that word, and offers to go looking for flowers the next day. In the forest, an evil presence advances, concluding in a skull monument, but it ends up being Hartigan's nightmare, causing him to wake up. Kalen had a nightmare too, but his sister comforts him. When Hartigan explains the dream to Mara, she understands it in detail, as she says that everyone there has experienced the same nightmare before. He asks about the word Morlock, but Mara claims it is just a children's story. The next day, Hartigan witnesses the changes to the society of the past, with the tribe keeping remnants of the cities as memorabilia. Mara asks him why he decided to travel back in time, and he explains that it was to understand why the past cannot be changed. She doesn't understand these reasons, wondering why anyone would want to do this, but soon understands it is to get someone back. On a canoe ride, Hartigan wonders why there are no older people in the village, but Mara only replies that they set out from that place so as not to stay in the past. They arrive at a field of mills, where Kalen welcomes them excitedly, wanting to know more stories about New York and the people of the past. Mara and Hartigan make it to the time machine, and out of nowhere, she asks the doctor to take her little brother into the past, changing to a fearful stance. He's puzzled by that, but shouts and roars in the distance tell them that the village is in danger. The screams intensify, and they find the entire village evacuating the place. Upon arrival, Hartigan encounters a humanoid monkey-like creature and runs for safety. Soon more creatures arrive, throwing darts at the villagers, and one of them manages to hit Mara. On close inspection, Hartigan notices a black viscous liquid on the dart, but before he can analyze it, he and the other villagers end up surrounded by the creatures coming out from under the ground. They gag and capture several village members using superhuman strength and primitive hunting tactics. One of the beings comes upon Kalen, and Hartigan goes to his rescue. A chase begins, and follows the doctor hanging from one of the mills, with the creature grabbing him by the feet. After some struggle, the beast falls to the ground from several meters away, dropping unconscious for a few moments. Upon awakening, it climbs back up to lunge at the doctor and succeeds in bringing him down, next to it. Kalen comes to the rescue, using fire to drive the creature away, escaping through subway conduits hidden in the sand. When Hartigan arrives in the area, he sees how Mara is captured and taken to the creature's hideout. The doctor proposes to go to the rescue of the captured, but the people don't understand his proposal since according to them, this is how life in their village works. When Hartigan reproaches the villagers' lack of defense, the leader tells him that those who fight are the first to be captured. He then goes to talk to Kalen, telling him that they must do something about it, but the boy only comments that once the creatures capture others, there's nothing else to discuss, confirming that they were the Morlocks. Despite this, he learns of a place where the ghosts dwell, and goes there with Hartigan at night. The place ends up being a space with paraphernalia from the past, including several holograms of Vox, which Hartigan remembers from his visit to the museum. Although Vox's software no longer updates automatically, his collected information tells him that there are now two dominant species on Earth, one living on the surface and the other living in the depths. Vox has generated a pessimistic consciousness over the years, and talks about how overwhelming it is to have all the knowledge of the world available, but not be able to do anything about it. He even remembers his earlier encounter with Hartigan and tells him that he knows about the Morlocks from a member of the village who managed to escape and stayed there with him, talking. The doctor asks the hologram for the truth, but the hologram warns him about how crude the truth can be. Vox tells him that his former friend came from the east of the forest and that he could find answers there,